Hello, this is Henry Joy from OneEd. Systems versus thinking. Some people understand the value of systems, but very many people don't. I would say that one of the big differences between these two are this. Systems are accumulation of knowledge into a physical form, while thinking is accumulation of knowledge inside a mind. If we move to thinking, I would say that thinking is a very good activity, especially if you know how it's done. However, there's different kinds of thinking, and I'll briefly touch on a couple of them here. I can't. I would argue that this is not thinking, is basically shutting off your brain. So I will not go into this one. How can I? This is where constructive thinking actually begins. When you ask this question, you'll find amazing answers. If you start asking this question when you're up to a problem, you'll have good results, and your mind gives you answers to how you can accomplish a goal. There is one drawdown with this one, however, and that is that many of the answers you'll find requires motivation and intelligence to act on. Sometimes that's good, other times you'd want to move to the next level. That is, how can I construct a system for this? When your mind opens up to the level of systems, I would argue that a new world opens up. This is the world where you do not need very much motivation. Things just get done. You don't have to work that hard. You work smart. I'll give you a couple of examples. First one. Stone movers, I call it. Instead of having 4,000 slaves moving dirt, Caterpillar constructed a system for moving stones. I think it's operated by a single human, and I think that this person gets minimum wage. One is hard work, the other is a system. 4,000 slaves or one on minimum wage. The second one, water system. Instead of collecting a bucket of water from a river each and every day, humans have created pipelines to transport water into the tap. Collecting bucket of water is hard work. Tapping water is not so hard. That's the difference between system and no system. And the third example, quality management system. Some businesses have quality that goes up and down from time to time, and they have to work hard to acquire an acceptable level of quality. And you have businesses that use quality management system, so they relatively effortlessly and effectively can accomplish high quality levels. One is hard work and thinking every single time. The other is a valuable system. So if we move to systems, I would like to repeat what I think is the difference between systems and thinking. Systems are accumulation of knowledge into physical form, while thinking is accumulation of knowledge inside a mind. You need both, because without constructive thinking you can hardly create a system. But when you're done thinking, your best bet is often to construct those thoughts into a system. I'll give you an illustration on this. You can be thinking each and every time you do a task. Let's say you acquire a certain knowledge about a subject, but when you stay away from this task for a period of time, very much of that knowledge is gone the next time you start working with it. When you work on it, you gain knowledge again, but after, let's say, a month or a given time, you're almost back to where you started, and you basically have no system for this, so you basically have to recapture the knowledge and then you lose it again. The other way is creating a system. If you create a system, you accumulate the knowledge into some physical form, like a documented routine or procedure. So the next time you're about to conduct this task, you start off approximately where you left when it comes to knowledge. The knowledge and thinking is not accumulated in your head, but in some physical form. And since you started about where you left, you now realize a new and better way to do the same task. This is accumulated into physical form again, and you get more and more effective doing this task. That is the power of having a quality management system. It lets you use all the knowledge you acquired when you implemented the system, and then you refine the system until it's very effective. It's far better to have a bad system than to spend a lot of time thinking and then produce good results. The reason is simply that you can very hardly leverage the thinking time very effectively. And one thing is almost certain: you will have to do it next time also, because all the knowledge and information about how to do it is in your head. If you create a system to help you do the task, you can maybe leverage yourself a lot, or you can maybe even get someone far less intelligent to do the task for you, and you can spend your valuable time on something else. Move on to give you an example of this. Let's take a car. Let's say you have a valuable car. You know how to drive it, how to shift gear, how to brake, how to stop for stopping signs, and so on. So you have a certain level of knowledge about the subject. However, do you know the optimal combination of gasoline and air in the engine? Do you know what materials are best to use to produce an engine? Do you know how to make the best possible brakes? Probably you do not have a clue about these things. And you don't have to. The simple reason is that the systems that the producers of car have are so effective that even if you have inferior knowledge about these subjects, you are still able to drive a car like you were a Superman. And this is the power of accumulating knowledge into systems. Even though you have little knowledge about all these subjects, you are fully able to operate a beautiful vehicle. All the knowledge from hundreds and maybe even thousands of designers are accumulated into a system, so you don't have to think about these trivial things. Now, if you can accumulate your knowledge and your skills into a system, this will let less intelligent people do the task you're doing. Or, if you prefer to do it yourself, you can do the same tasks with far less effort. This lets you leverage your business higher and higher. So if we move back to systems and thinking, I would say that when you're deciding to go for a quality management system provider, I strongly recommend that you choose a supplier that understands the value of systems. There are many suppliers that say they will give you a system ISO 9001 in no time, and you don't have to change anything in your business. But what are you getting out of it? Imagine if you could start accumulate your thinking, your skills, and you could start leverage it. Imagine if you could effectivize 50 routines with, for example, 10%, and that's not very hard. Imagine what that could do to your bottom line. Imagine how it would feel to increase your profits with 6% the next 6 months. This is Henry Joy for OneEd. Thank you for watching.